Hey, tolerators. This is To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie Katona.
And Dina Alcative.
On this podcast, Dina and I have been exploring and letting you in on some of the impactful relationships we've had with men. But today is another guest episode. We have new friends. So we have special guest Ellen Moore. She is the host and executive producer of the Slut Show. She's going to help us dive into the world of sex toys and introducing them to your partner. Because as we've talked about before, I failed at that. So I'm like taking a back seat today.
I'm so excited that you guys are having me. Thank you.
We're
thank you for coming.
Excited. Like, for one thing, like, this is my dream, is just to, like, make friends all over the world through this podcast. But then to also just, like, Dina talked about when we were talking about having you on, just, like, how important it is to get outside of America's viewpoints on sex and relationships. Because I'm sure I would go overseas and just be like blown by how different the cultures can be.
The difference is massive, honestly. It's super interesting though to especially talk to people from different countries, and not just America, Europe, but like all over the globe. It's so different everywhere, and it's so good to see these new perspectives and realize that, you know, nothing is normal really, and then everything is.
Yeah.
What's like the biggest shock what's the biggest shock you've seen since meeting people from different parts of the world?
Well, so I've grown up in the Netherlands, and obviously we're the country notorious for drugs, sex, and prostitution. And I mean, up to a certain degree, that is also what it is like. It's very normalized. It is normal to talk about these things. It is very normal that drugs is a word that falls in your household when you're growing up. And so for me, these things are all normal. And only when I began creating YouTube videos and began doing things online, I realized that the things that I speak very openly about are not necessarily that openly spoken about globally. So that's been interesting because I've gotten this very strong response from society, whereas for me personally, I'm not really doing anything crazy.
You're like, I'm used to all this.
You're like, this is just Tuesday. Like,
right. Yeah, no, for real.
This is just Sunday dinner. I don't know.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, for real. It truly is like that. Yeah.
So we had one of our artist friends on, and she paints mostly plus size women in the nude, and she deals with a lot of censorship issue through like Instagram and TikTok. And so do you run into issues like that too?
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, no, it's a nightmare. Shadow banning is so real, and that's why I'm always on the show also like talking about those things, because it's so important that because those who listen love it, and those who don't know anything about it are not going to find out unless I get out of that shadow ban. And a shadow ban is basically Instagram's way of censoring your content and not having it be seen. Very low story views, very low amounts of likes. You don't get, you don't end up on the search pages, etc. So yeah, that's a pain in the ass, but honestly, I'm doing what I love, so that keeps me going.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, and Instagram, we're on to you because they're so sneaky about it, but it just takes like one person going, hey, I noticed that in my profile, it now says that like you're like rated R content or something. Right. So you have to like unclick that in your profile so you can see my profile or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm convinced that Instagram just literally wants to take down the sex work industry.
100%.
100%. That's all that is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And just like really mute people of color, people of all genders, people of all sexualities. They're just like, nope.
100%. Especially the queer and the community of color is disproportionately hit by these shadow bans and by censorship. And it's crazy to me because I don't understand why it is so rebellious for a couple of women to talk about how they orgasm or not orgasm. And like, there's people who are being racist dicks. There, can I swear?
Right. Yeah.
Yes, you
always.
can.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. It's still American, an American show.
we haven't had any issues yet.
Okay, well, good. Let's keep it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
I don't understand either. Could you give our listeners a brief overview on the Slut Show and how it all started?
For sure. So, I started a podcast and talk show called The Slut Show, which we basically have different guests on the show every week, and we talk about many different subjects, everything that falls into intersectional feminism, and that can be racism, body positivity, that can be sex, it can be coming out, it can be anything LGBTQ+, and what we're trying to do is basically give the information that I wish I had growing up, and also normalize things like sex toys in the bedroom, normalize things like STDs, or preferably the lack thereof, and normalize topics that are not discussed, but are very important for humans, because down the line, our primal needs are food and probably somewhere very close sex. So those are just basic human things. And so we're trying to break some taboos around here.
You are creating like a very safe space for people to come on and just discuss that. And you do a really great job of just like running the gamut with guests and guests of all different backgrounds and everything.
Yeah, we try very hard. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. And then, so I kind of handed you a challenge about talking about sex toys specifically in the bedroom with your partner. So is this a brand new relationship? Is it kind of a standing relationship?
We're not in a relationship, actually.
Great.
Oh, okay.
But I do very much so like him, and I would like it to head that direction. I don't know if I'm gonna send this podcast to him or not.
The pressure.
Oh God. I'm getting hot. Yeah, no, so I have a million sex toys. Not a million, but I do have some sex toys. I am absolutely blowing some wind to my face. Like on the Slut Show you could see that, but now obviously I gotta explain those things. Yeah, so I have a lot of sex toys, and I have a lot of fun with them myself, and I at one point realized, like, why can I not take those into the bedroom? And I have a pretty hard time orgasming when I'm with partners, and so for a very long time I just didn't orgasm, and I thought that was normal, until I realized that I could actually orgasm, and that it wasn't normal to not orgasm ever. Because I never have a hard time doing it myself, and I've never had a hard time, not getting turned on or things like that. So I kind of began exploring sex toys in the bedroom, and this is my first partner with whom I'm actually talking about it very openly, and with whom I'm saying things like, okay, maybe you want to try these on me, maybe try different products, try different ways of holding it. So we're very openly discussing these things, and that's been very eye-opening for me as well.
How's it going with bringing this up with him?
Right. I think that talking about it is going very, very smoothly. And of course, I'm also the host of the Slut Show, so people who get to know me also know that. So they know that talking about sex is something I like doing, and also like doing openly. Nonetheless, that doesn't take away my internalized misogyny and all the internalized taboos that are there. So I definitely sometimes feel like when I don't come, like I am failing, which is a very, that sucks to feel like that when you're having fucking amazing sex.
Yeah. Right. Like I've had the, oh my God, am I taking too long? Like I can't even relax sometimes, to the point of just enjoying it, because I'm so worried about like the perception of how long it's taking, and I'm like, why? Like the guy doesn't give a crap either. Like most of the time they're just like, whatever. So
we're distracted for 30 more minutes, but
right.
So
100%.
I very much think that when I tried to introduce sex toys into my last relationship, I went about it in all of the wrong way. So did you have like pre-conversations with this partner? Like before you were all naked? Was it something that just came up in the moment?
That's a good question, which I should have thought about. Wait, let me think when this happened. Okay, so, the first time I, attempted having sex with, the first time we got naked together, let me put it like that.
Yeah.
There weren't toys because I just didn't have them there. And I believe that so I have this right now. I have a bunk, like a kind of a loft bed, which is like above me. I live in Amsterdam. There's very little space. I'm also, broke. We're starting up the Slut Show. Send me money, people.
Donations, please, guys.
Right. We're all broke.
I'd appreciate it. Anyways, moral of the story being, there is this, shelf which literally has all my sex toys exposed, and there was a point where I was like, I'm not gonna take down the shelf anymore. It's become too big. I don't know where to hide them, and it's not convenient. And let me just, if I put them there, they see it from the get go, so they know what they're in for. And so I believe that because it was there, and I said, well, I'm the host of the Slut Show, and then I, showed the shelf. And
here's
he was
my
like,
shelf.
Okay. Yeah, he was like, okay, cool. And I believe that I then somewhere during sex, I grabbed one of the toys and I put it on certain body parts, I believe, and I think we didn't really discuss that, but he was like, she's enjoying this. This is hot.
Yeah.
That's all that should matter, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Though, I've heard, I haven't come against this. I don't know, Natalie, if you have, but I've heard a lot of stories about it being like an ego thing.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like, I can't please you, and you need this separate third-party item to help, and they take that personally, which I'm just like, it's so different for us getting off, and for each woman, it's so different.
100%.
And you can't expect, it's not like most guys who could just come in and, they're gonna feel good pretty easily, but we're a little more complicated, and I don't know if they fully understand that sometimes, so
the last time I tried to do this, me and my last partner were not sexually compatible. It was like a COVID depression relationship.
Understandable, though.
It happens, man. 2020.
So he was very offended all the time and hyper focused on the fact that he couldn't make me orgasm at all. He was also extremely not, he didn't have a lot of experience. I was the only woman that he was having like repetitive sex with.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And so there was just like, he didn't have a lot of body confidence. He wasn't ready for me to have a lot of confidence. And then like one day we're just having sex and he's still complaining about the fact that I'm not enjoying it. And I was like, well, do you want to try my vibrator? Like, there are solutions.
Yeah.
So then I hand him my favorite vibrator, like, which I also feel like is such an intimate moment where you're like, 100%. I'm trusting you with the only thing that makes me orgasm and sometimes sleep at night.
Yeah. That is a massive amount of trust you're giving them.
It's a lot.
They should be grateful for that.
Don't fuck it up, man.
Don't fuck it up. And he's just so awkward. And I'm trying to be like, well, no, I kind of like it in this position. And I'm trying to guide him. And then I think eventually I just like shoved him and I was like, no, like this. And it was a mess. And we never tried it again because I could just tell that he was getting progressively more flustered. And instead of this being like an empowering moment, he was just continuously getting torn down by it. And it was like, I failed to make you come again. And I was like, yeah, like every time. I don't know.
Right, yeah. Oh my God. But this is so hard because also, like, just like Dina said, I think incredibly hard for especially men, because there's so much misogyny in this world. This
Mm-hmm.
world is built on misogyny, and obviously there's then also the people inhabiting this world have a lot of internalized misogyny. Oh my god, can you not make notifications right now? Sorry.
You're okay.
It's okay.
Eventually Dina's dog will start barking and my cat will be right here.
Yeah.
So
okay, cool.
like
that'll be great. I'd love to meet them. Anyways, yeah, so I feel like men are very easily, you know, their egos torn down, and it in no way compares at all. Like the episode coming out Monday of the Slut Show, we literally have a sex therapist who adds little snippets to the show, and she literally said something along the lines of, toys are never your competitor, they are an addition to your sex life. And that is really what it's like, and I feel like it's very, very hard to get to that point where a male partner most of the time is okay with sex toys being included regularly, because they indeed might feel inadequate, which is 90% of the time not them and the situation or body confidence or being busy worrying about how long it's taking you to come, or being busy about your ingrown hairs or how you taste or whatever it is. It's 90% of the time inside of our heads, I think.
Yeah. And then especially over here, and I know like Dina's gonna also agree with this really hard, that in America, we're not really encouraged to explore or experiment. Or when we were recording on Thursday, like Dina asked, like, well, what do you think your next relationship is going to be? And I was like, honestly, like, I'm so not attracted to men right now. But then to be a person in the Midwest of America and being all like, I'm 30-ish, I want to be exploring, I want to like explore the gender spectrum. Like, we're just not, we fit ourselves into these tiny little boxes.
Right. For sure. It's a pity, because you miss so much by not doing the things that you really want. Like, I could name 10 things that I would want to do, but I'm not doing because of some sort of fear. And you have to actively break those taboos within yourself and actively go be scared and do it anyways, because unless you do it, you're not going to find out. And unless you do it, you don't know, you might learn something that is fucking great during sex. And it's such a pity to miss those things because you're not encouraged to explore. So for people listening at home, if you are thinking maybe I should explore this is your sign from the universe telling you to do so.
Right. Just try new things. It can be anything. It could be anything sexual. It could be introducing anything sexual into your life. Or like, I even think our culture is against like trying things new hobby wise or anything like that. It's like, you can't just wake up one day and decide to be a dancer. Well, why not?
Yeah.
So
there's this TikTok that sometimes repeats in my mind, which says something along the lines of sucking at something is the beginning of being kind of good at something.
Right. Yeah.
Which that's also true. Like we've talked about with another guest, I don't remember who, but even if you're just a mediocre at a hobby doesn't mean that you still can't enjoy it, you know? So you don't have to be the best at everything to enjoy it. So
well, and so much about sex is like almost that like faking it until you make it thing. Like, oh, I'm just gonna like throw this hand there and like see what happens and things like that. And I know that a lot of my partners, it's like, we have sex, we cuddle a little bit, but we're definitely not going to talk about the things that just transpired between the two of us.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
which is
hard.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. Dina, do you like, when you explore with because you do this more than I do, when you explore with a new partner, like, what is the after conversation like?
So I like to, I mean, this is just who I am as a person, I guess, but I like to know from them, like, what they enjoyed or didn't enjoy or what they would like to, I try and foster, like, an environment in the bedroom that's, like, nothing you say is going to be criticized. I just want to open an environment that everybody feels comfortable, because honestly, that's what I want for myself, because I get so bogged down in my head about, you know, body positivity, how long am I taking, like all the things you mentioned, Ellen, I think about in the bedroom, and it's just so hard for me to relax. So if I fake it till you make it, try and foster this environment that's like, let's just, you know, explore, and it's safe, and, you know, everything's chill, then I find that the men that I've had this conversation with, they've generally been surprised, because I don't think they often get the let's talk about this. You're safe. You can bring up your actual wants and desires in the bedroom and not be judged for it. And I'm surprised at how they open up when you create this kind of environment. And it's beautiful to me, because I think they also get caught up in what they're supposed to be, you know, based on society's standards. And when you try and break down some of those walls, they really open up. And so, yeah, I'm a talker too now. I wouldn't have said that like a you know, maybe 10 years ago, but definitely now I try and just talk as much as I can in the bedroom, and try not to put expectations on it, because that's when you usually end up breaking those expectations. Just try and enjoy it.
I mean, I love the name of your podcast, firstly. Like, I mean, so all the men I tolerate, that is just, I relate to that so much. I love it.
Oh my gosh. And so many, when I was telling people, like, hey, we're going to move forward with To All the Men I've Tolerated Before, they're like, do you know how great that, like, name is? And I was like, yes. And that's why I have to do it now before someone takes it. Like,
yes. Monetize it. Do it.
For real.
Yes. And I know that if I am doing a lot of communicating in the bedroom, it is from a place of either people pleasing or like panic, because I don't feel like things are going right. And I think that's part of the like internalized, almost prudish misogyny of our culture, is like, well, if it was going great, you wouldn't have to talk about it, or you wouldn't have to guide them.
Yeah, I get that so much.
And
I mean, porn hasn't helped with that,
well,
right?
porn.
So,
when did porn become our sex education? That's
for real. That's
fucked.
the problem.
Yeah, 100%.
Is they don't teach sex education, and so we're learning it from these other, you know, entertainment, the things that are literally just meant for entertainment and not for teaching or learning.
Right.
Yes,
so,
100%. Like, how was I a kid that started watching porn when I was 11? That is really fucked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How am I 32 years old and just recently learned that my clitoris has multiple parts?
Yeah.
Because like, I've been told my entire life, like, it's just a nubbin. It's a mysterious nubbin that you just have to find.
You gotta, it's hiding.
It's hiding.
Just get it.
It's got a little... You know,
it's got a cute little...
comes out.
Right. And I'm like... I was like, you all, it's like... It looks like a... I don't know, but it's like, I was like, that's what that looks like? I thought it was a button. Like,
just push the button.
Right. And men over here will call it the button. My last partner, well, where's the button? I'm sorry, what?
There is no button.
There's no button.
Not even how it
your
works.
Fucking button. Oh my god.
That's
and
insane.
Then I was like, I've been trying to show you. And he's like, no.
Ellen's like losing it. She's like, the button, man. We can't move past this right now.
We can't.
It's crazy.
And when I'm telling you that I was like, I have tried to show you where that is and where that's supposed to feel good. He goes, no, I'm not talking about your clit. I'm talking about the G button, the one that automatically makes you go. And I'm like,
that's not how that works.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I have never found that. Or does it even exist? One
that
makes it amazing if you could just hit a button and orgasm.
Oh man!
Like,
give me that button.
Right, give me that button. And I'm like,
things a lot easier.
Where can I buy that button?
Right, and I'm just like, sir, I don't know. And he's like, well, how do you not know? And I go, well, because when I masturbate with my clit, and I do. And then I'm like, and you won't go down on me, so I use my going down vibrator.
Like, for you. Say it. Tell him.
Right. Like,
Also, huge red flag that they wouldn't go down on you.
Yeah, that's...
Don't like it.
When I told him, because he was so frustrated that I couldn't orgasm, and I told him, I was like, here it is, tolerator, it's a trick. I was like, the easiest way to get me to orgasm is either from behind or through oral. That's honestly the only time. And even like from behind doggy style, I'll just get to the brink and then I feel like it's all over and I didn't actually orgasm.
Oh, I've never come from penetration alone. Never in my life. I haven't.
Never. Nope. And so his exact words were, I've never done either one of those before. And I'm like, in another life, I was a teacher. And it just like, it completely made him start to shut down again. And I'm like, oh, our sex life is going to be so fun.
And can I ask how old he is? Maybe you can cut it out if you want to.
No, I've talked about how old. So he turned 31 or 32 while we were dating. So
and he had never gone down on a woman.
No.
And what were you his first bed partner?
So I was his third. He had 2 one-night stands and then me. And we also met under some strange circumstances. I don't know if you have Love is Blind over across the pond, that TV show.
Oh, yo.
So we met through an online date-in only version of Love is Blind.
Oh, that is interesting.
Uh-huh. And we've done a whole episode on it. So like, I very much felt like I got swept up into like my bachelor fantasy where I'm like, I'm great for reality TV. And then like, I was like, you make the relationship work because you want to be great for reality TV. And we were supposed to do like follow-up episodes and a trip and things like that. And then all of that fell through. And I'm like, get out of this relationship. You're not even getting a trip out of it. Like,
fair. I mean,
so he was very inexperienced and very just like so insecure. The man had so much self-hatred, which I know. And I don't know how we break this barrier of, I honestly, my go-to if I want to talk about sex with men is I do sexting because it's a fantasy then. And then they show up in your bedroom and you're like, well, where's the fantasy guy? And they're like, aha.
When are we acting it out now?
Right. This was the perfect time.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like for me, it kind of was this moment when everything switched, and that was when so I had my first long-time relationship, I had all my first with that bed partner, and then I had a lot of casual encounters, and then there was one casual encounter who just went down on me and made me come twice. And I hadn't come, like, for anyone, like, in between my first bed partner and that guy, and I was like, okay, if this guy from Tinder who got here half an hour ago can do it, then anyone can. So now I'm gonna come every single fucking time. Spoiler, it didn't happen, but I did at one point say to a couple of the people on my list, I have a list, I did say something along the lines of, no spanking, no butt stuff, and you're gonna make me come.
Mood.
And there it is.
Rules.
And that's the sticker for the episode.
Yeah, I love
no spanking, no butt stuff, but you will make me come.
Yeah. I mean, those were my rules for quite some time, and then I learned to like spanking, so now it's just no butt stuff, make me come.
I do like a little spanking.
And the sticker with the 3 and then X out.
Right, we can X out spanking, you know, because like, we've reconsidered it.
I mean, I can settle for make me come, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, better than most encounters I had.
My internalized misogyny is that I like to be manhandled. I like the hair pulling. I like the thrashing around. I grew up on Highlander romance novels, so...
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had a whole episode where we talked about how I would enter internet relationships and we would role play like I was a princess who was kidnapped and then banged my kidnapper. And I'm like, well, that's healthy.
Oh, God, that's like Stockholm Syndrome, right?
Yes.
Oh, my God,
it is.
I haven't come much, but I've come so far.
Oh, that's also like a quote.
That's a great sticker, too.
Oh, my God.
But, do we want to
question?
Oh, go for it, Dina.
So I recently got a new sex toy from my daddy.
Oh.
Natalie knows about my daddy.
Dina has a sugar daddy. I'm very jealous.
Oh my God, I love that.
It's amazing. But he got me the Womanizer, which is like the game changer, right?
I know.
Of the sex toys.
The Womanizer changes women's lives.
Well, I was like, I was wondering, because I have a lot of issues surrounding sex, so it's hard for me, like I said, to relax, but I was like, okay, maybe this is known to be the gem of, sex toys, we'll try it out, and I'm a believer. It's amazing. They figured it out, y'all. Like, this toy is it. 100%. And the best thing about it is it doesn't affect sensitivity. Mm-hmm. So you can use it as much as you want, and you're not going to get that like numbing from a vibrator or anything like that. So I heard on one of your episodes that you had a Womanizer, and I was curious what you thought about it.
I love it. It's my Womanizer. Well, so my Womanizer passed away, and yes, I'm very sad about it. But that's probably because of how much I used it. So that is also, it shows that it's actually good. I called her Clinton, as in, Hillary Clinton, but then Clinton.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
And so I'm actually planning on doing a little funeral for Clinton and making a reel out of it for my Instagram, because that would be hilarious.
Please put like a little Hillary Clinton like wig on it or something.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
So hilarious.
I'm gonna write this down somewhere.
Yeah.
No, but my Womanizer was the reason I first ever came while there was a dick inside me. Now that was a whole new level of coming for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
So I have knockoff womanizers because I am a poor. So I had an Amazon knockoff that they no longer make. And it'll come back, but then it'll die a little bit again, and then I have to like put it to bed and then like be like, but can you get it back? And then so we haven't had to do a full funeral, but I do remember the first time that like I didn't think it would ever turn on again. I asked Dina, I was like, would you do like a witchy releasing ceremony with me about my favorite vibrator? And she's like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm a hater. Like,
can we just like light a candle for my favorite vibrator? And then my best friend from childhood, she was like, well, if you like that one, get I have the Satisfier Pro now.
That's fucking great too.
It is great. My last one was more silicone-y and soft, so the rigidness of the Satisfier sometimes throws me off. I feel like I can't get as much wear and give into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that I'm like really creating a lot of friction if I'm like writing it or something.
Oh yeah, that's That's why I got the Satisfier one, because I wanted to see if that like the shape was better. But it just sucks a little less hard, and I prefer like the suction power, the 2. But then I don't know. Usually I use 1 to warm up so that I make sure that 2 doesn't die. There you go.
Yes, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
What would you say is like your favorite toy right now?
So I have a lot of toys that I like and that go on to be my favorite for a little while, but then the one that I always end up using, I always end with my Satisfier 2. So my Satisfier Pro 2, I think that's yeah. If you don't have it, get it. It will be the best $40 you'll ever spend.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% do it.
Did anyone after they had like used, I believe that toy orgasms are way different than just like partner, orgasms. Did anyone get any like weird quirks that would happen because you were using a toy to orgasm? I go deaf in my right ear.
Oh my god, that is...
I lose hearing.
Did I know this?
I don't know, but I lose hearing. That's how intensely I come on my knockoff womanizer and satisfier.
Oh.
Is it almost like your ears pop or something?
Yeah. But like for a while I'm like, oh, the hearing, like it's just oh.
Literally angel noises whenever you come. Yeah, like
oh.
That's amazing.
Oh wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Now I'm trying to think if anything weird happens to me.
See?
Or not weird, just, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I need to take a shit after I can.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, bowel movement, because you're, you know, you're using your abdominal you know, muscle. So I think that if you're, you know, obstipated, I would recommend to just masturbate a little more. I think it works.
I realized that I get nauseous sometimes, like from the rush of hormones and stuff that happens. But I also have a hormone disorder, so that could be part of it. But like I've noticed when I get super excited, kind of like out of nowhere or something, I'll be like, oh, kind of a little queasy there for a minute.
That happens to me if I give myself a nooner. Because I'm not going to sleep right afterwards. I'm like continuing with my day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I read somewhere. Oh shit, wait, firstly, I realized my weird quirk.
Ooh, let's hear it.
So this actually happened very recently. I started crying because it was so good.
Oh yeah.
But like with my partner. So like I you know, there were tears, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was so good. Now I'm crying. I don't know what's happening. This has never happened."
I think it's hormones. I swear to God, I really do think it is.
Yeah. It's just the most beautiful moment of my life. I don't know.
Right, but I knew this could happen because I read about it somewhere at some point, probably. But yeah, no, fucking great. Make me cry every time like that.
Oh my god,
literally.
Yeah, no, I read. Fuck, what was I gonna say?
You read. You were reading
that. Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. I should
that happens to us all the time.
I'll get back to it.
So I'm obsessed with this question now, Dina, and I think we should start asking our guests this more often. So I asked our last guest, Annie, if she finds it hard to date as a talented woman. Do you find it hard to date as the host of the Slut Show and like as someone who's wildly talented and building a following and things like that?
Yeah, it's a nightmare, honestly. Yeah.
We knew the answer. We still asked it, though.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's hard because I can't go on a dating app saying I'm the host of the Slut Show because that just gets weirdos. But if I don't do it, it also just gets weirdos because I still am a ginger. And so... You know, it's a massive kink, honestly. I've also done modeling for a very long time, and so I feel like that made it hard to date because I'm the model, and then I went on to, you know, put my entire sex life online, and now that's something that I, you know, have to deal with in dating. I think that with the partner I'm currently seeing, I really am lucky because he's just super accepting, super open, and we got to know each other as friends before we ended up, you know, making any moves, because I thought he just friend zoned me. I was super attracted to him, but I just thought, why is he not doing anything? I guess he doesn't want me, which is also super fucked up, because if someone doesn't make a move and then you automatically think it's not, you know, romantic, oh my god.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's hard, and I think that talking about it with your partners or potential partners is incredibly important, and just saying that, it's hard for me to date as the host of the Slut Show because people automatically have assumptions about what I'm like in the bedroom and what I'm not like.
Yeah, I haven't had any experience since we've started the show, like trying to explain the premise on dates or anything like that. But I think about it sometimes and how you almost have to tell these future partners, like, I also kind of need you to know that, like, if that's a deal breaker, that's kind of on you because I'm not giving this up for a what could have been situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely their issue. I haven't had an issue in a relationship, but there have been 2 separate men that have, I don't know, these are strangers that have gone out of their way to, like, ask about the show, but just based off of the name already have a, you know, they're already offended, you know? And they go out of their way to try and, like, get me to, basically say that we're, like, bashing men or something like that, and I'm like, you can listen to it or you don't. We're not begging for people to listen, and the fact that you're so triggered by it already, just based off the name, is you got some issues.
Yeah, and you probably won't make a match romantically for any of us. So.
I am getting so much TikTok hate currently, and I'm so mad because it's not even on one of my videos. It's on a comment that I made on someone else's video. A woman was basically doing this whole comedic bit where she's like, don't say that you get to have a seat at don't ask me what I'm bringing to the table when I know that your table's barely a fold out table from the garage. Like, and she had this whole metaphor of like, my table's made out of oak and it's a family heirloom and I've worked for it and whatnot. And I commented it. I was like, I used to tell guys that were interested in dating me that I don't need you. I want you. You are not the foundation of my house. I have built my foundation. You have the luxury of getting to be the sunroom. You are a lovely addition, but the house isn't going to fall apart without you. Yeah. Oh, that has made a lot of men on the internet fragile.
Wow, but that is honestly, if that's holy, like that shows how many toxic relationships are currently still in progress, because if that is not what it's like for you, you need to check yourself and start building your relationship with yourself, because you need to be your own foundation.
They're so like offended. They're like, what self-respecting man wouldn't want to be needed by you? And I'm like, I just think it's sexier to be wanted. Like,
what?
And some guy was like, the guy yesterday was like, women don't even build infrastructures or bridges or houses or buildings or anything. God. So you've right. And they go, so you've also built nothing. And I was like, and I just commented like, this is just false. This is just not true, because I also address every one of them. I have to. It's a need. I'm like, but I think, especially over here, and I know worldwide, this is a cultural, like, thing that people deal with. Like, men truly have this, like, idea of in their head that they're still our provider and our protector, and they still haven't made the switch now that women are allowed to do things like have credit cards and put their name on houses.
Sure, but like, imagine, because that is, we don't even get to do that for like, I don't know how many years exactly, but I believe it's less than 100. Excuse me? What even?
And over here, it took almost 100 years to get women the right to vote. It took 80 years. 80 or 88. It's one of those two numbers. I had to research it for a job once. And I cried. I was sitting at my desk after I did the math, crying. And someone walked into my office and they're like, what's wrong? I was like, I just did the timeline of women's suffrage in America, and it took 80 years. No one had ever told me in school that it took 80 years. They made it seem like it was like a month-long protest.
Oh my God, how is that not, like, part of sex education history class for one? That is so important. It's about half of the fucking population. What are you talking about? And I don't, like, for starters, I don't understand the whole concept of men are stronger, men need to protect, men are needed. Fuck you. We are the ones who breed children. They grow in our fucking stomachs. Well, not literally, you know, but they grow inside us. We give life. What are you talking about? Your seed is so not necessary. Yeah.
We literally don't even need them to reproduce anymore.
Right.
Yeah, literally. We can use eggs, that's all. If we were just to decide to just not use them anymore, they are fucked.
Well, and honestly, if men had figured out how to reproduce without us, we'd already be in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
It would already be Handmaid's Tale. Like,
yeah,
100%.
Insane.
A woman had a meme out that was like, I'm on 3 hours of sleep. Every 30 minutes, I'm breastfeeding. I'm in the worst pain and depression of my life. And if a man had to go through this for 2 days, we'd have free parental leave in America.
Right. Yeah, 100%. It's fucking crazy.
It's just crazy.
The systems don't work, literally.
No. Is there a specific reason that you were called to use the word slut? Were you like reclaiming it?
Yeah, 100%. It comes from reclaiming a word that is used so negatively to describe women who I relate to so much, because when you look up the word slut, I believe it means something like a woman who has no self-respect or degrades herself. But the moral of the story is women who enjoy sex, and that is something that I definitely do. And so I get called a slut because I decide to have casual encounters whenever I want to. And so I think that is also something that comes with being the host of the Slut Show, or like working for the Slut Show as well. Like, people think they can call you a slut. No. I get to call myself that, but that doesn't mean you get to. And that is about reclaiming the word as a woman. It's about reclaiming the word as someone who is sex positive. It is about so much more than those 4 letters. It's about intersectional feminism, and that's everything. So
yeah. I do think that it is important when, like, language is so intentional and it has such power. So when we have like opportunities to just turn it right around and be like, you meant to demean me, but I feel powerful in my sexuality. Right. And the fact that that makes you uncomfortable speaks way more about you than it does about what I did last night.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I've only encountered one guy who has ever called me a slut, and that was like the last time I engaged with him.
No.
I was like, nope, no thank you, bye.
Yeah.
No thank you, but thank you. No. Mm-mm.
Sorry, not so sorry. Silly. Not interested. Yep.
I see you looking at your list, Dina, so I don't want to steamroll you.
No. So I was curious if you've ever encountered a situation with sex toys where it's a negative, like where it's causing issues in the bedroom or anything like that.
Yeah, surely. I think, yeah. So, like, in a lot of positions, it's hard to use a clitoral stimulating sex toy, because it just doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's a womanizer, it's, like, far smaller, usually, so, I mean, I'd love to be sponsored by them, but I guess we're not, so.
If only.
Right. We're working on it, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't fit, and then often when you're trying to make sure that it does fit, it can cause the reaction of, why is it more important for the toy to fit than for me to fit, which is obviously not even remotely the situation, because I would not have sex with someone unless I want to, and apparently I want to use a toy, so that those things can coexist without making each other less powerful, if I can put it like that. So that's an issue, and like you said before, Dina, men feeling inadequate, and men not thinking they can make you come without, which can sometimes be the case, and that is also okay. And I think it's important to talk to partners about that and say that it is not them. They're not enough. It's not that you need it, yes. So then why should you not use it?
Mm-hmm.
If it makes you come, fucking use it. It's gonna make it better for her. It's gonna make it a whole lot easier for him or her, or them to do it. So I don't understand why it's still such a negative thing if it helps people and it makes people happy. Sex toys only bring pleasure, so.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's because they're largely for women and geared towards women. Like, if men more often than not needed a toy to, like, get off, I don't think it would be
a huge issue.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the way it goes with everything that's geared towards women. It's an unnecessary luxury, like romance novels. Well, romance novels are bad books that are unnecessary fluff. Romantic comedies, anything that's geared towards us is lesser than.
I've even felt weird not anymore, but like in my past, I feel like I've felt weird watching porn or telling my partner that I watch porn. Like it's whereas with guys I feel like it's standard. Like if you don't watch porn, that's weird.
They can have group viewings of porn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that also within porn it's interesting to explore because there's so many different genres. It's insane. And there's also a lot of things that are not necessarily for you, probably, but there's also a lot of things that you might firstly think, oh, that's disgusting, and then you realize that it kind of turns you on. So it's fun to learn new things in that way, and for as long as there's no sex education, porn can be a nice way of exploring.
For sure.
I think also part of the issue surrounding sex toys and introducing them with your partners is we have such a singular view of the act of sex, and it's like sex is just penis inserting into vagina. And I've tried to explain to partners before, it's like, I'm very much an experience-oriented person. So if it like starts in the living room with a makeout and some heavy petting, and we eventually move on, and now we're just kind of naked for a while together, I can kind of look at the whole experience and not just like focus on that one like minute of orgasm or whatever. Yeah. But so often like it's like, well, if we're just like using toys or whatever, that's not even really sex. Like I'm not even a part of it. It's like, well, you're here. It's not like you're a supporting player.
Yeah. And also like for me, if I come with a partner while I or them are using a sex toy on me, I come because of them, not because of the toy, because I'm aroused by them, and they are the reason that I want this toy near my body. So that's also a massive compliment to them, like feeling safe enough to introduce a sex toy. That is huge. And like, for example, masturbating in front of each other while watching each other can be so sexy, while that is also super scary. And I think that trying that is something that a lot of people don't dare to do because it's so vulnerable. You are literally
intimate.
You're sitting there butt naked, showing yourself and the way you arouse yourself, and that is beautiful and should be treated with respect. So if you're not in a situation where you feel safe enough, maybe think again if that relationship is the right one for you.
Right. And then, do you have any recommendations of like really partner-friendly sex toys?
Ooh, I have one too, actually.
Do you?
I do.
Tell me.
Go ahead, Ellen. Oh, no, she's like ready. Actually,
get it out, Dina.
I need to know the name of it. So, it's called the We Vibe.
Ooh, is that the one with the app?
I got candle wax on it, so sorry.
Oh my god.
It's the one. I have a candle burning, I got it. But it's basically a long distance toy. Yeah. Because me and my boyfriend, and it's a vibrator.
Okay.
It goes inside of you. So this part goes on your G-spot, and this part, it just sits. You don't have to hold it. It just sits on there, and it vibrates. And there is a remote that goes with it, but there's an app that you can connect to, and your partner can control it from wherever they are. It's made by the same people that make the Womanizer.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
And it's super great. It's like Bluetooth, so you connect it to your phone, you use the app.
That's so cool.
It's freaking amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend, because you don't even feel it. I mean, it feels essentially like a tampon or something. If you had a tampon inside of you, like, except it's vibrating. And so
but
you can wear it out.
Do you wear this just when you go to work?
You can. Yes.
Oh God, that's a good idea.
Like, I think I would, if it wasn't on vibrating, obviously, I would forget about it. So, they can turn it on, you know, with your permission. Like, you give them consent in the app, which is really cool. And then they can control the vibrations, the speed, the pulsations, all of it. That's amazing. Super amazing.
All right.
So, that's my recommendation.
That's awesome.
So cool. I've been meaning to get like one of those vibrating eggs where you also have like a remote control, then not with an, well, I mean, if I have money left over, I would do it with an app, but but I think it would be fun to, you know, go out to dinner and then give them the remote control and just, you know, experience the night.
Yeah, that's so super cool. Plus adds the benefit of being out and about in public, you know, which is an extra layer of exciting. So.
I only read the steamy parts of the 50 Shades of Grey series over one weekend, like one at-home weekend. I was like, I'm just going to read the sex parts of 50 Shades of Grey. And I believe that they do that in the book. Like, he takes her to dinner, and he's like, you must wear this, and then he controls it.
I love that.
I know. I'm kind of like...
in the movie?
Because the movies had to be, like, really, like, Hollywood, and we still don't talk about sex in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Why would you even try?
I don't understand why the whole, you know, well, I do understand because of fucking misogyny, but, like, how is 50 Shades of Grey allowed and produced by Americans, but then talking about the female orgasm is, ooh, God, don't do that.
Yeah. The more I learn about the pleasure gap and the studies that are done about it and everything like that, it's like, can't we just be better? Like, at what point do we just get to be better?
It is insane. Honestly, I think that, I think I have the numbers right here. I did it on a show, with a lesbian friend of mine. Mm-hmm. So I think it's right. Yeah, there we go. Lesbians orgasm in 86% of sexual encounters, where heterosexual women only orgasm in 65% of sexual encounters. Now, oh my God.
65 still seems high to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably too high. Yeah.
I feel skewed.
I don't think I've orgasmed in 65% of my sexual encounters.
I think I'm at like 10% maximum.
See? Yeah. Maybe we should start, and maybe that's an app that needs to be developed where women actually get to track if they've orgasmed during a sexual encounter.
Let me look this up.
Yeah. App for women pleasure.
Orgasms.
If not, we need to find a tech person, and we need to have a...
6 best orgasm trackers.
Oh!
Wait, what?
Oh my God, I'm gonna get one of these apps.
Yes!
Oh my God, this is... I'm gonna do this. Like, I will look into this, find out the best app, and I will forward it to you guys.
Yes! That's amazing.
Thank you.
I love this.
I love when I have ideas that are already things.
That's way better than a period tracker. Holy crap.
I know, right?
Because Amazon's always like, do you want to track your period? No, I don't want to track my period.
Literally no.
I want to track orgasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. It exists. Oh my God, I love that.
Do you have any red flags when it comes to partners or partners' behaviors in the bedroom?
Them not going down on you.
Right. That's a big one.
Them finding it strange that you do not go down on them when you don't want to. Them finding anything strange that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. Because you need to be able to decide what you want to do, and you need to be able to feel the space that you, get to decide, and that you can also say no. People who don't hear no's, and people who are not willing to explore, people who are not open to new ideas, because I'm not here to have the exact same sex that you had with your ex-girlfriend. I'm a whole different person, so...
Right.
Ew.
Right, yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. I don't like that thought. Can you imagine if a guy said that to you? Oh, yeah, well, me and my ex used to do this. Like,
right.
What?
Mary really liked it.
Oh, my God.
Wait, what?
I just said Mary really liked it. Like,
Oh God, that's awful.
Whitney Cummings, my favorite comedian, she does have a joke or a running bit on her podcast or it was in one of her former specials where she said, every time I have sex with a guy for a first time, I feel like I learned so much more about his ex-girlfriend.
Oh my God.
I love that.
Yeah. I agree with that. With you on that. Oh my God, I had this partner some point in my life, otherwise they might know, and they did not have what they said they had a lot of experience. It was a male, a cis heterosexual male, and so he claimed that he had a lot of experience, but me sleeping with him, I just didn't understand what kind of experience he had, because I was pretty sure it wasn't with, like, human women or something. I don't know. He was not doing anything that was pleasuring me, let me put it like that. And so he said, why aren't you coming? And I said, well, because you put your penis in for 3 pumps and that was it. So, yeah. So I think it's super interesting to see the massive difference between men who've been with people in only casual encounters versus men who have been in relationships with women who have been honest about how they like the sex. Because at one point I said, I would like for you to tease me a little bit more. And he said, I don't like teasing. And I said, well, you should give it a try sometime, because I don't like this.
Right. I don't like for real. Any of this, and yet here I am. So.
Right. And, like, the audacity to say, I don't like teasing. Well, oh my God, I am saying this because apparently I don't like this.
I would just like you to pay attention to my body while you are entering it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
And, like, pay attention to if they're actually fucking enjoying it.
Yeah.
For real. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Right? You gave me a great meme idea though from that story. I'm so excited. Natalie, I'm gonna have a great meme for this episode. I'm so excited.
What is your take on faking orgasms?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It makes it so much harder for you to actually show an actual orgasm, and it gives them ego boost that should not be there.
No. Yep.
It's like the worst kind of reinforcement for them.
Yeah.
It's negative reinforcement.
Give them positive reinforcement when they're not trying at all. Like,
if you didn't come, they should know. Like,
the last partner, the one that I tried out sex toys with, one day he asked me, he goes, why don't your nipples ever get hard or come out? Or, like, why aren't they enjoying this? And I'm like, well, because it's not enjoyable. It's just, they're hiding from you. They've actively retracted back into my body. Like,
that's because they only come out when I'm enjoying things.
That's what I said. I was like,
stare at them intensely after.
They only come out when they're happy. So.
Oh my God. But, like, that is true, though. There is a massive difference in the way, like, I didn't know how hard my nipples could get until I knew how hard they could get.
Right. Yeah.
You learn new things
all
the time.
Dina taught me that, like, your vagina can reject people that you don't actually want to be, like, having sex with. Like, I was telling her, I was like, I don't know, I need to go to the doctor. I'm having pain during sex or whatever. And she's like, but do you just think it's because you didn't actually like having sex with them? Because, like, my body used to do that, too.
Yeah. So I, like, definitely, I mean, I have some sexual trauma, but, so it's hard in the first place, but if I'm not comfortable with somebody, or if I'm just not turned on, my body will not respond. Like, and especially if there's a lot of issues outside of the bedroom, it affects me in the bedroom too. It's like I just close up. Like, and it's painful sometimes. And I thought, just like Natalie, I thought I needed to go to the doctor because I was like, what is wrong? What is wrong? And I did go to the doctor and I told her about this. And she was like, use more lube. And I was like, I don't think.
Doctors are so helpful.
That is such rubbish advice. Oh
my
God. But, like, I get that. I really relate to that a lot. And I think that, it is very important to, you know, listen to your body physically, because it's telling you things that sometimes you're not willing to accept mentally, perhaps. But those are very important signs.
I think it's also like so telling when you have a very emotionally intelligent partner compared to someone who hasn't done a lot of self-reflection or exploration or things like that. Because as women, we do have like such a mental and emotional connection to sex that doesn't always translate into our partners.
Right.
So,
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's also why I think that with vaginismus treatment, steps are like, if you have very severe vaginismus, then they say, okay, we're going to take it all the way back to the very beginning, and that is lighting a candle and sitting on the couch together, eating a meal together, taking a walk outside together. Those are already things that are important and influencing your sex life and the way you do or do not let your partner subconsciously enter your body, because those things everything is influencing one another in the body of a cisgendered woman.
I think that's really important too, because I know that I get like in a checklist mode where it's like, well, I've already like beat that level. So it's like, we can't go from having sex to just being cuddle partners. And I struggle with that idea, but you're right. You can always do more, but you can always do less.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you. It's so important to also normalize those things. Like, it's easy for me to speak about it being Dutch and living in Amsterdam. We have fucking great weed, man. I got it. But that is a massive help. Like, literally yesterday night, I that was a link I had in my brain. I was like, oh shit, maybe that's a good idea. And so that's what I did. I rolled a joint and I smoked it, and we had such crazy fucking good sex. I was on the verge of coming for like 1.5 hours straight.
Woo!
And I didn't fucking come, which was, frustrating. But it was such great sex. And then afterwards, I felt my body being relaxed and happy and zen, and just, that after sex rush. And I just felt that. I was like, how can people say sex is not good for you? It is literally so good for you when done right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Same for drugs. I mean, booze is so much more dangerous than drugs.
No kidding. I did answer very honestly at a bachelorette party, to the shock of the entire room. It was like a this or that question. They were like, would you rather have a shot or a joint? And I was like, a joint. Because I get heartburn. Like,
yeah,
booze is kind of gross for your body.
Yeah, it is so... I don't understand why booze is legal, but hard drugs aren't. Like, I understand, of course, but then I don't, because the amount of alcohol that is currently consumed internationally is doing so much more harm than any amount of hard drugs will ever do.
Right.
By strongly believe that. Children, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It starts early.
This has been so lovely. I'm so excited for this episode. And then to close out every episode, we have 2 traditions. We ask each guest to give us a takeaway from their journey. So like today, it could be your journey with the Slut Show or your journey with sex toys or anything. And then we ask for a manifestation, like a hope for either your partner, past partners, yourself, the community at large, about what you hope going forward for this topic.
Right. I believe that speaking about sex and drugs too, but let's begin with sex openly, is so incredibly important to change the society that we currently live in, and to change all of the harm that these taboos are causing, because they are causing severe harm in sexual health, and because there is a lack of actual proper sex education. We cannot have sex to the best of our abilities, and that will obviously also have an influence on how women are going to come, or rather not come. And my hope for the future would be that is that obviously the Slut Show is an international platform that can help with that. But just in general, that people can speak more openly about orgasming, or the lack thereof, because it's also okay to not orgasm. But I hope for everyone to orgasm a little more.
No. Dina, do you have a takeaway and a manifestation?
Yeah, so my takeaway from all this is that there seems to still be a lot of perception issues and stigma surrounding sex toys and things like that. But obviously, we have platforms like the Slut Show, like this podcast as well. And the more we talk about it with each other and, letting people listen to this, I think it's only going to get better and make people more comfortable doing that in their own lives. Mm-hmm. And so I just hope that we keep progressing and that someday the normal for people is this.
Right.
So
I think my takeaway from this episode is that I clearly have a lot more exploring to do, and that needs to be a goal of mine. And that's going to take a lot of the confidence that I've found either socially or through my work or whatever. And it's time to translate that into the bedroom. And so that's also going to take a lot of bravery that I'm going to have to wrap my head around. So I'm hoping that going forward, more people are connecting with, inspirations or people who can hype them up or supportive people in their lives where instead of getting demeaned or shamed about the things that you're trying, you're actually getting support and love and light and things from the people surrounding you.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Good for you. Go do it.
Thank you. I'm going to try. Maybe I'll
support you, Natalie, if you
Thank
need
you.
help.
I mean,
with all my I'll come run over with my sex toys and be like,
we will be your cheerleaders.
Yeah. Technically, to keep the podcast going that I want to make my livelihood, we will need more content. So I have to do it at least for the tolerators.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we would love for you to take this opportunity to tell people where to find you and the Slut Show and how to connect with you.
I would love for you guys to find me on Instagram at The Slut Show with Ellen Moore, and we also have a website which recently launched, which is theslutshow.org from, of course, Orgasm, theslutshow.org, and we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all other streaming platforms, and, of course, our YouTube channel where there is a full talk show with the whole shebang and all the segments that are honestly hilarious and worth the watch, so definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. And then you can find us on Instagram at Men I've Tolerated Pod. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at NatalieK124. Anyone who interacts with us is going to get love, whether it's moving whatever you told us into our stories or bringing you up on the show or anything like that. We've also got a Gmail at menI'veToleratedBefore@gmail.com.
And you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at @ms_caboose. And I'll have links there to all of my other social media. And that includes my Twitch channel where sometimes I stream video games. So come watch me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, Dina can actually talk to people while she plays video games.
That's
turtle.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I just swear.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's a large part of it.
Yeah. I just silently mash. Like, thank you so much
for having me.
No problem.
Yes,
and as always, this is the part of the show where I beg you to continue to be our friend and always feel like you can reach out and chat with us or anything because,
likewise.
Yeah, like we're connected now. You're part of the community.
I'd love to have you guys on the show. We need to make that work.
Yes, we would love that.
I would love it for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Wait, Natalie, you gotta do your thing.
That's right.
I almost forgot. I was like, what are you not gonna say it? We've been working on this.
And remember, tolerators, you don't have to smile through anything you're tolerating, especially partners who won't give you orgasms or even treat your sex toys with respect. Smiles are for joy, and for joy only.
Yes. Yes.
We don't smile anymore. I'm trying to make it our ending tagline to be like, we don't smile for anything that we're just dealing with.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. I tell my boss all the time, I'll smile when I'm happy here. Like,
that's right.
All right.
See you guys.